wash a big, dirty vehicle and protect it in real
time. Hi, I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
This is DIY Detail. This G-Wagon, it's a sort of an iconic vehicle. A lot of people love the G-Wagons. We like them as well. And this one has been washed before, but whoever did the wash didn't get in all the little cracks and crevices because we have little streaks running out of everywhere on this vehicle. We're gonna fix that situation in real time, quickly. So, without further ado, let's get washing.
Ivan's gonna be washing, I may do a little talking because we wanna do this in real time. Now, I will tell you this much. If you think watching a Jeep is kind of a bear with all the nooks and crannies, a Mercedes G-Wagon is even worse. You're gonna see it in real time. Some thick, luxurious foam, incredible suds mixed by none other than myself. 32-to-1 is all that we recommend you use. I'm pretty sure I put 2 ounces in there, Ivan, and I'm admitting to it. And foam is fun, he's okay with it. He used to not be okay with it, now he's fine. Because he knows that foam is fun. Suds, what's wrong with suds? We love the suds. Now there's utility to the foam rinse foam method. We're gonna talk about that as we wash. Usually we edit over the foam cannon, we add some sound in there, some time lapsing, but this is real time, folks, giving you the nitty gritty of how to wash your car. How long does it actually take? So Ivan's make sure that he covers every square inch with incredible suds. We don't hit a pressure washer on paint until we've done the foam rinse foam method. Of course, we do hit pressure washer on paint, but we don't do it on bare paint. We like to have the soap to emulsify, pull down the dirt and grime first. Ivan, look right.
Yeah, and I think I went a little overboard on the foam there. Got my cart all foamed up, but that being said, we're gonna let this foam dwell and come down just a little bit. I'm gonna add iron remover to the wheels, Nick, because it's a German car.
Great call.
Might need it.
So what's your philosophy as you're going about a car wash? We're not gonna clay the paint, but we are going to use iron remover on the wheels.
Right, the German vehicles, we know they have a tendency to put out a little more brake dust than average. So a bit of iron remover on the wheels never hurt.
Folks are gonna have a tendency right about now to clean their wheels, but we teach the foam rinse foam method on paint. We also advise it for wheels.
100%. You know, if you go in there with your brushes on the wheels, you're damaging your wheels. The reason you're damaging your wheels is you've got that brake dust, you've got that grit in there, and that grit is not helping you.
We do the real-time wash just to show the variables, the actual time involved, Ivan.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'm gonna start by rinsing the roof first.
And I'm gonna stay out of your way.
So we rinse from the top down. And as we mentioned, on this vehicle, you can see some of the streaks coming down from the windows and around the moldings. I think, Nick, you mentioned something about a Jeep.
Yeah, well, because we've watched a lot of Jeeps on the channel, and every time they look so flat and easy to wash, and you get in there, it's such a pain.
Yeah, G-Wagon makes a Jeep look easy. So G-Wagon started life as a military vehicle, so there was no real concern for aerodynamics and things like that. But today it's known as a luxury vehicle.
It's just an iconic ride.
Yeah.
Walk me through your rinse process. Why are you rinsing where you're rinsing? Talk about that, because it's not just haphazard.
No, I'm trying to make the most of my time.
And we don't want anything to dry on the surface.
No.
So do exercise caution in direct sunlight. You may want to opt for a rinseless wash method instead if you're in direct sunlight. The foam cannon is so much fun, but outside, hot summer day, you're going to want to work in sections as opposed to go willy-nilly all over the car.
And do you think the wheels needed iron remover?
They needed iron remover.
Yeah.
It's very possible and or likely that the paint also needs iron remover. Doesn't mean you need to decontaminate it every wash. This is a real world, real-time wash. Some days you're gonna be claying, every few months maybe. We don't even use clay, we use a decon towel with iron remover. But a lot of times you're doing a maintenance wash. Ivan's spraying, I'm gonna squeegee. That's how we roll in the DIY Detail Garage. Sometimes you get a little pressure washer to the face. That's just called life in the detailing trenches. Ivan takes his rinsing very seriously, and I take my squeegeeing very seriously. The reality is we're gonna do one more layer of incredible suds before our contact wash. And when we do that, we have everything off the paint, all that grit, all that stuff that we don't want to drive into the paint. We're safely getting it off now on that sort of bed, on that slide, that lubricated cushion off the paint, so that when we touch it with our wash mitt, we're not going to risk driving it into the paint. So these are redundancy steps to ensure no whoopsies, because we don't want to be polishing paint often. We want to exercise safe washing techniques, and that'll keep our paint looking good for a long time.
Exactly. And this vehicle actually was pretty clean when it got here, other than those runs out of everywhere. And yes, it did have a thick layer of dust on it. This vehicle is loaned to us by Mercedes-Benz of Omaha, so thank you to them. And if you're looking for a G-Wagon, they might have one. Who knows, when this video comes out, they might still have it. Hopefully not, because dealers need to sell cars, not just keep them around to look pretty.
I've been doing an admirably fine job at the foaming of the incredible suds. How important is this second foaming, Ivan?
Normally it's, just a summary foam, but we have a little more to do to this vehicle than we normally do. So I need to be a little more thorough than normal. And with this vehicle, if you like drips coming from everywhere in a vehicle, this is the truck for you.
You say normally this second foaming is almost a cursory, just get it on there.
Right.
Why is that, and why are you adding more this time?
We'll get to that in a second, Nick.
All right, he wants to foam and clean, I got it. It's game time around here. When we're on the clock, Ivan doesn't mess around, which I appreciate. The squeegeeing, by the way, never ends. Okay. Taking care of the floor. Next step is the contact wash, Ivan.
Nick, you didn't put any soap in your wash bucket.
I apologize.
Let me get mine, and while
Thanks
you're putting soap in that one,
for
I'll
helping me out.
suds mine up.
A capful will do it. You really don't even need a capful.
No.
One is plenty. There we go. There we go. That's more like it, Ivan.
There you go, Nick.
Thank you. So it really is efficient to have one person on each side of the vehicle. Obviously, if you're at home, you're going solo, it's gonna look different, Ivan. Where do you recommend they start if in a car wash?
Always try to start from the top down.
Boy, this thing is a beast. I forget how much of a monstrosity it is. I mean, it's not a Hummer, but it certainly feels different and bigger than I remember.
Yeah, they're not a small vehicle in any way.
Yeah, Jeeps are flat and everything. We're used to so many Jeeps in here. Boy, this incredible suds just glides over the surface. There's not much to contend with in terms of grit. There could be a traffic film issue at this stage of the wash, Ivan.
Yeah, there is, and one of the things that I have in my hand that we don't normally see on the channel is one of these little brushes, because everywhere there's a seam on this vehicle, it's just caked in traffic film. So I'm using this to dislodge that in all those little cracks and crevices. So now that I have the roof done, I can pass this over to Nick.
I was gonna ask where you got the fancy brushes, Ivan.
In the wheel bucket.
In my drawer. In my drawer, says Sylvie.
You have 3 in your wheel bucket too.
I didn't see a wheel bucket. I see a drawer though, so I'll take one from here. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. We don't use a lot of brushes in this garage, so when Ivan says it's time for the brushes, it's time for the brushes.
Well, this vehicle needs it. It's one of those vehicles that if you don't do this, you don't have to do it every wash, but once in a while, you're getting all these seams releasing dirt because they hold it. And even if you're pressure washing, even if you're using soap, you're not getting all of that.
Question for you. What is your favorite kind of brush? You want a real soft makeup? Do you want like a harder boar's hair, like a bristle? Like what consistency should folks be looking for the exterior of their paint?
I like a slightly stronger brush because if it's too soft, it just sort of folds over and doesn't do anything. You don't want one that's going to scratch either.
If this were a YouTube video on another channel, perhaps, they would just foam and then they would hit it with the brush.
Yes.
The problem there, as you've pointed out so many times, is if you're not doing the foam rinse foam method, that brush is just driving things into the paint that could scratch.
Yeah.
Seems like that's one of your pet peeves, Ivan.
It is, yeah. So I'm doing one panel at a time, going back to my wash bucket, getting some more suds, and getting every one of those little seams, everything that can be hiding a little bit of dirt.
Okay, I have to admit though, it's very satisfying using one of these brushes on car emblems. I feel like a real YouTube detailer. One day, Ivan, one day.
One day you might make it.
If I play my cards right. Wow, Incredible Suds is so much fun. You say that professional detailers should not use soap, but you're not anti-fun, please. So
no.
Talk about the efficiency and time with rinseless, where you don't have to rinse after the contact wash versus Incredible Suds, which we will need to rinse.
Right, so as a professional detailer, stick to your rinseless wash. It's much more efficient. As a home hobbyist, have fun with foam. They both have their place, but as a professional detailer, I started using rinseless in the early 2000s, actually late 1990s. And in my shops, we didn't use soap. It just wasn't necessary. Now, what we're doing here, you can also do with rinseless. You don't need to use soap for this, but we like to feature suds once in a while.
Would you ever use a foam cannon if you were detailing outside?
Not really. Unless, it's cold out and you're not in direct sunlight, then maybe, but to me, it's not a outdoor friendly tool. I know a lot of people do.
Yep. We do know you as the godfather of rinseless wash, so I can't blame you for choosing rinseless in most situations. So we're live, Ivan. We need the chit chat.
Yeah, well, there's 2 types of people in the world.
Okay.
Those that have never tried rinseless wash and those that use rinseless wash.
Once you try it, you never go back. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, once you try it, you're going to adopt it. It may not be for every wash for you, but it does definitely have its place. You'll notice I've got the wash mitt in my hand. And before I attack something with the brush, I squeeze out the wash mitt above it just to get more suds and more lubrication into play.
Okay, but brushes and foam are pretty fun, Ivan.
Yes, they are.
Like for no reason at all, I'm just brushing this sunroof, mirror, glass. It's been a long day, the glass here. Because Ivan gave me permission to use a brush and I'm gonna do it. Otherwise it would be, what are you doing? You don't like 3-inch polishers, you don't like inefficiency, but I've seen you grab the brush when the time calls for it.
Yeah. You know, there's no right or wrong way to detail. There's just a lot of different ways. And sometimes you need a special tool for the job.
What do you think the most commonly missed area? I'm under a mirror right now.
Yeah,
I feel like that's an easy spot to miss. But I mean, maybe even more obvious than that. Just like somewhere that detailers or enthusiasts miss when they're washing the car.
There's a lot of little places, and the more construed or, you know, like this vehicle, you've got lots of little angles and stuff everywhere. That's when you miss things.
So I know we're not decontaminating, but I'll tell you how I like to use the decon towel. It just rests in my wash bucket at all times. I'm not using iron remover here, but I am always, after I wash, gonna use it over the front windshield. That way, anything that I didn't get with my wash mitt, maybe it's just a bug that really decided it wanted to let my windshield know it was alive and wants to be memorized or memorialized. Well, I'm getting rid of it. We're putting it in the bug graveyard, Ivan. You don't approve of the decon towel on a non-decon wash, do you?
No, it's a good tool to use if necessary.
I'm kind of wanting to use it everywhere now, but we got to stay focused. If you wanted to, and you already washed the front bumper and the bug guts didn't go away, a couple passes with the towel using just Incredible Suds as lube would take care of those bug guts, Ivan.
Yep.
The wheel and body brush, Ivan.
Yep, on the grill, always a good tool to use.
I always want to make sure it's nice and sudsed up, nice and lubed up, because we're all about safety here. Okay? Get that over here. And this is actually safe on paint too, this brush.
Yep.
But same principles apply. We foam, we rinse, we foam first, and then we can use this brush. Make sure there's nothing in the brush. Make sure this is just like your wash mitt, right? You're using clean, pristine tools and towels on your paint, but with the right lubrication and the right preparation, this wheel and body brush is perfectly safe on paint. How goes it over there, Ivan?
Almost done, just have the wheels to do.
I don't need to use this on the bars here, but once I started, I've enjoyed every moment. I usually squeegee for you, Ivan. That's a danger zone area over there.
Yeah, it's where most of the water accumulates, just by the front wheel. And since I'm going to be kneeling down to do the wheels, well, I'll get rid of as much of this moisture as I can.
Are you doing barrels here?
Yep.
It's that kind of day, okay.
They're very visible, so.
I love the idea of ceramic coating your wheels when you first get them. Before they're on the car is kind of nice.
Yeah.
And they make wheel cleaning so easy. If folks aren't going to take the wheels off, you think it's still worth them ceramic coating the faces?
100%.
What's your ideal go-to coating from our lineup for wheels?
The 8-year.
Why is that?
It has the most self-cleaning ability, and it's our most durable coating.
How would you compare that on wheels to C6 Hydro Light?
C6 Hydro Light will be a little better in terms of hydrophobics and self-cleaning ability, but durability, the 8-year takes the cake.
And that's what we want on wheels, just because they're so close to the ground. They are getting exposed to everything. Yeah, even if you have an electric vehicle, obviously brake dust is something that is on the road a lot. even if you have an electric vehicle, other people are using
There are brakes around you.
old school brakes around you. So brake dust is on the road, and it ends up on your paint and your wheels, and that's why iron remover can be such a helpful step on anywhere, but especially wheels. And just starting at the valve stem is such a simple way for me to keep track of where I'm at on the wheel. And the same brush, this wheel and body brush that works on the faces of the wheels, is also great on the tires. So I save that to my last step. Bada bing, bada boom. Ivan, I used to spend so much time on wheels. It's kind of an art form knowing what to focus on and what not to focus on.
You want them to be clean,
Yep.
but some detailers, let's say they're not as organized, and they miss things because they're not being methodical in their wheel cleaning.
I think it's worth cleaning these calipers up.
Pardon me?
I think it's worth cleaning the calipers.
Yeah.
Especially ceramic coating them early on if you can is nice as well. So this is the valve stem I was talking about. I'm starting here. This is my beginning spot. I used to start at midnight and work around, and for some reason that didn't work as well for me. So, you know, do whatever you want out there, obviously, but it is helpful to have a system, Ivan.
Yeah, once you have a system and you follow that system, that's a very important qualification there.
And it's important not to do too haphazard a wheel cleaning here. I like to actually get every surface of the wheel face so that when I'm doing that final drying stage, there's not a lot of dirt there that I'm trying to mop up and clean at the end. That's not going to be the safest way to address the face of the wheel at the end. So you ideally want to hit every surface with your brush the first time, actually clean it, actually rinse it, so that at the end when we maybe spray some ceramic gloss on there, it's a perfectly safe process when we do that. The lubrication from the ceramic gloss will be helpful, but do it right the first time. It doesn't take that much longer. And then again, I'm starting at the valve stem for the barrels. Where are you at, Ivan?
I'm ready to rinse.
He's always one step ahead. Not 20, but usually 1 or 2. Is there a favorite day of the week for you to wash, Ivan? Are you a Sunday morning, Saturday morning guy?
Any day of the week, as long as it's not snowing.
That's true. Not a fan of the cold.
Never have been, never will be.
I see you're getting into all those seams, Ivan.
Right, so the seams that we brushed out, we also want to rinse out. And that's gonna prevent what happened to this vehicle, meaning all those drips and everything that didn't look good for a...
There will be drips, but they won't be bringing dirt down with
them,
them.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is a vehicle that could probably use about 30 drip catchers.
We'll show you those in a second. tried so hard to get the water out from under, and it ended up right in Ivan's feet.
Yeah.
I try to help him stay dry, but today, we're doing it for the people. Is it over the top? Is it over the top to rinse this much? Ivan says no.
What's that?
Is it over the top to rinse this much?
Sometimes it is. In a vehicle like this, it's not over the top. There are some times when we need to rinse just a little bit more.
All right.
Basically, we want to flush out those seams so when it rains, they're not being flushed out by the rain and carrying all that dirt with them.
Exactly. This might be the most thorough rinsing I've ever seen you do.
This one really needed it. And the reason it had all those streaks before is because someone didn't do a thorough rinsing with it.
So is this the only vehicle in the world that has seams that need to be pressure washed out?
No, there's a number of vehicles, but this one has, let's say, its fair share. But we're done with the rinsing. Oh,
The
actually, no.
squeegeeing, the
I'm not.
squeegeeing is not, no, you got the front end here.
Yeah, I've got it. Now I'm done with the rinsing.
All right, so now we need to get this vehicle dried and protected. And there's a lot of ways to approach this. One of them would be to put a wax on, Ivan, but we're not doing that today, are we?
No.
Although wax, I would say, isn't dead.
No, wax definitely has its place. A lot of people still like to use a nice cream or paste wax.
And depending on when this comes out, what can they look forward to, Ivan?
Well, we have a wax on the way.
Yes, we do. But I don't think we're using wax today. And I'm trying to fill space as Ivan rolls up the pressure washer here.
And our pressure washer has sprung a leak.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, in the hose?
And the crank.
Uh-oh. See, when Ivan gets quiet, he's thinking about important stuff. What do we do about that?
Well, we turn the water off and we'll have to investigate.
That's for another video.
Yeah.
I think how to fix your pressure washer could be a good one, Ivan. But a real-time wash, man, the people are waiting. I can only squeegee and talk for so long without my partner in crime.
So the pressure's been released. Time to dry.
I'm in the
now
dry
all
feet
those-
brigade here.
Those streaks are gone, but we still have a lot of water everywhere. It's just one of those vehicles that
Yep. So I think it's drip catcher o'clock.
we can arrange that.
One more squeegee pass, and then I'm gonna get to drying. It's just more pleasant to have dry feet.
It sure is.
I've had wet feet and dry feet, and I prefer dry.
Have our drying blanket, have C6 mist. And as the name suggests, I'm just gonna mist it on the surface. Let it do its job. And from there, start drying.
Let's talk about C6 Mist versus something like ceramic gloss, which is also something you could spray on as a drying lubricant and
Yep. They both do a great job. Now, Mist is designed more for a vehicle that has protection on it. And we know this one has protection on it. So we don't need the long-term protection of ceramic gloss. But we need the drying lubrication provided by Mist or ceramic gloss, or even quick beads for that matter, because water is not a lubricant.
I like to use the drying blanket on windows first. Kind of primes it a little bit.
Yeah, mine was already damp from a previous adventure, so it absorbs it on the first pass.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting thing when you start to learn what makes you faster, what works better. And one thing you pick up pretty quickly when you detail is, wow, when my drying blanket gets a little wet, it actually picks up the water more efficiently.
Yeah.
C6 Mist smells wonderful. It's a joy to use as a drying aid. And it's not just, as you said, for protected paint or coated cars. It could work on any paint at all.
Right. And C6 Mist has the real advantage of being a dedicated drying aid. So it's not trying to provide protection. It's only trying to provide lubrication and actually make the drying easier.
Why should folks use something like this when they're drying their paint?
Well, to make it safer to dry the paint, to make it faster to dry the paint.
I've heard people out there say, well, you're mixing it with the water and you're cutting the efficiency of the protection and, are people overthinking it? Like, there was probably a time when the efficiency of wiping in something that protected and added shine and made the drying towel safer seemed like blasphemy, like it was too good to be true.
Right.
Was that a conversation in the forums back in the day that like there's no way this could possibly be the best of all worlds and it was a hack way to protect your paint?
Yeah, when iron remover came out, it was a hack, it was no good. You have to use wheel acid everywhere in the car, destroying trim and all sorts of different things. Some people are very slow to adopt new technologies, some are quick, some are too quick sometimes. But
so wheel acid was the go-to before iron remover, huh?
yes, because acid will remove metal contamination.
No, it works, it's just not safe for you to breathe.
No, not safe for you to breathe, to have on your skin, to have on the car, to have on your floor.
Not good for the environment.
Yeah, there's a few things not good with it. There's more not good than there is good.
Some detailing shops still use it.
Yep. Now, in many places around the world, it's illegal to sell it.
Really?
Yes, because of safety concerns.
Yep. Adopt Ivan's platform and ladder usage. Don't try to be a hero and climb on vehicles. I doubted it for a while, folks, and a platform or a ladder, it's the way to go.
It's a lot safer, it's a lot easier, and you do a better job because you've got both hands to work. You're not trying to hold on to a vehicle.
Standing on a wheel to get to the middle of a hood on a truck. Done that many times. But all it takes is one fall for it to not be worth it. And again, we've done hundreds of cars at this point. I like the platform, I like the ladder. I'm no longer trying to climb on a wheel when Ivan's not looking. It's, I guess I'm growing up, Ivan.
Yep.
Or getting old or something, but nobody wants to be falling from a vehicle. It's just not worth it.
Now, we mentioned this vehicle has a tendency to drip for a while, a long while. We're gonna help it drip a little bit.
You're gonna help it drip? What are you up to, Ivan?
I have a little blower here. It's not the biggest blower in the world. It's not the best, but it does the job. So we'll allow it to help us. And you don't need a big fancy blower. If you have an air compressor, use it. That's actually the better tool for the job, but this will do the trick. Blow off a section, and come back and dry. You don't want those drips drying on the surface. And if you see another drip starting to form, like right here, just get it out of the way.
What's your favorite blower in the history of auto detailing?
I like a corded blower. So the Master Blaster has always been a favorite. This little Ryobi that we have here actually is a pretty good little tool.
We're getting close, folks. We're getting close.
Nick, Sylvie's bringing you one.
People will leave comments about the drip catcher and say, that's just a gimmick, just use compressed air or Master Blaster or a leaf blower.
Yeah.
You can do all the things and the mirror will still drip for hours. So we're just trying to help you out.
And when you're using a blower, do your best to wear ear protection. Some of them can be quite loud.
Ear protection doesn't seem very sexy until you get irreversible damage, and just why not? Why not wear ear protection?
Yeah.
Ivan, you're not a big advocate of the blowing before the wiping. What's the logic between that method and using it toward the end?
I prefer to towel wipe first because when you're blowing, you are evaporating some of that moisture. And that evaporative moisture on the surface leaves the potential of mineral deposits. Those mineral deposits need to be removed. They actually hinder beading and hydrophobics and all of that. So towel dry first, then attack it with the blower. But blowing the beads all off really looks like fun.
Now's a good time, depending on how dirty the door jambs are, to just wipe it down with your C6 Mist infused towel or ceramic gloss dampened towel, whatever it is used to dry the car. If the door jambs aren't bad and it's not going to get your drying towel dirty,
No.
that's what I like to do.
Yeah.
Boy, this does keep dripping, doesn't it, Ivan?
It has a tendency to do so, yes.
All that's left is a quick drying of the wheels, some tire shine.
Yep.
We're just about done if you're keeping track at home. You know, it would have taken us about 3 extra minutes that you could add on to this process without making it too extra, is using your decontamination towel with Incredible Suds as your lube. And if you feel like you wanted to decontaminate as you washed, I would not have added a lot of time. So just another option. Of course, there's way more options. There's mineral cleanse, which is our water spot remover. There's iron remover. There's polishing. There's all kinds of things you can do to the paint, but in the real world, when you're just trying to do a wash, this is a very thorough way to do so, Ivan.
Yeah, the rabbit hole can be very deep.
And dark. But also fun.
Yep.
So we're not going to get all the drips. That's just part of detailing cars. Time will take care of that.
Well, we are going to take care of, by blowing it out, we got rid of a lot of those drips.
Yep.
And there are some that will come back to haunt us for a while. But when we are done doing the wheels and all that, we can just walk around with another little towel, checking all those drips and making sure that it's as clean as possible.
What are you using on the wheels, Ivan?
Ceramic gloss.
Could you use mist instead?
You could.
How about waterless wash?
You could use that as well, or you could even use quick beads. But ceramic gloss in this instance is the one that provides the most protection. Remember, mist is not designed for protection in terms of long-term protection. It's designed to make your drying safer and easier. It does add a bit of gloss. It does add a bit of slickness, but that's temporary.
So if your wheels were coated, mist could be a great option here.
Yeah.
And if you're not adding any protection, you just want a safe drying lubricant, mist would also work great.
Yep.
Oftentimes folks want a definitive answer, and I'll send them to some of these videos, and because there's so much nuance involved, isn't there, Ivan? Like,
Yeah.
there's the rules that you know, and then there's the times to break them, and the more you understand our products, the more it just makes sense.
Yeah, there's no definitive answer. There's no right way or wrong way to detail a car. There's a lot of different ways.
The cool thing is when you start to understand how things work and why they work, and then you can adopt your own process with your own vehicle, with your own set of variables, and start solving issues by yourself.
Yep.
That's when it starts to get really fun. Because you're like, I'm a superhero. I can make magic happen on cars. All I need is this or that. And it can get a little dangerous when you try to act like a chemist and you get a little too creative, but you get the idea.
Yeah, and before getting to that point, we have some resources for you. Of course, this YouTube channel, but also we've got a great Facebook group, 55,000 members strong, that are there willing and wanting to help you grow in your quest to be a better detailer.
Do we tell people that's a stupid question in the Facebook group, Ivan?
Never. There's no such thing as a stupid question. There can be stupid answers, and we monitor those, but stupid questions, no. Everyone starts somewhere.
I've worked a lot of different jobs in my life. I worked in carpet cleaning, and I thought that would be the same in terms of how the customers treated me versus detailing. It was both services that I did mobile at their home, but there's a difference when you're working on their G-Wagon in their garage versus working on their carpet in their house. When you're in their house, you're a welcome intrusion at best. When you're in their garage, it's not as much of an intrusion, and when you're taking care of their baby like a G-Wagon, they just treat you better. I don't know, there's something intoxicating about being a detailer. It seems like just manual labor, like you're just cleaning tires and wheels and vomit, but there's a lot of dignity in it. There's a way that you get treated by customers. People all have cars and they all understand they get dirty and they know it's a lot of work to clean them. So when you start to learn this stuff, it's a really satisfying feeling.
Yep.
Anyway, there's my little verbal essay on auto detailing. We did a nice job, Ivan.
We sure did. And while I'm down here, I'll just get the back bumper because it's easy to do while I'm rolling around on the scooter.
I'm inspecting your work and I give you an A+.
Very good, thank you.
You passed the test. You might have a future in this business.
There's one thing missing though.
Oh, is that tire lotion? Come on, Nick. How could I forget, Ivan?
So a couple sprays on the brush. These are a tall tire, but not a wide tire.
Do you ever spray directly on the wheel?
Yes, if it's a large off-road tire with lots of little nubs. Now these have the white gator guards on them to protect the wheels from curving and also give it a little stylistic look. Our tire dressing being water-based, the tires don't have to be 100% dry.
It helps though, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Or does it not matter?
It really doesn't make that big of a difference. And if you want more of a matte look once you've applied it, take a microfiber towel, just give it a quick little wipe, and they'll dry a little less glossy. Gives that more natural look.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Ivan. Dressing the tires is my favorite part almost of the job. Some people like the natural tire look. I love a dressed tire.
Yeah. I don't like a shiny tire all the time. Depends on the vehicle. If you've got a classic vehicle from the 60s and 70s with those G50s or G60s on it, well then yes, you might want that nice, shiny, glazed donut look. But if you've got a modern sports car, that little just darkness is good. And continuing to drip from this molding around the windshield, which is coming down from the roof, going around here, down here, this thing will continue to drip for hours.
If you're really into the dark tire look, you can either let this dry or you can wipe it down with a towel and then layer it again.
Yeah, if you want the glossy tire look.
And then you could do the same. You ever triple layered tire lotion?
Never gotten that far.
I've never gone that far. 2 seems to be just plenty, just fine. Ivan, real-time wash.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
Have fun when you're detailing. That's the whole goal of this. Detailing needs to be fun, should be fun, and it is fun.
If you like real-time washes, let us know in the comments below. If you never want to see this again, let us know in the comments below. We respond to the comments. We love you. Thank you for the support.
Yeah.
And guess what? If they liked real-time washes, Ivan, I've got one more for them. This is one where we wash, decon, and protect. We did it in under 22 minutes, I believe.
Something like that, yeah.
It's worth watching.